Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Nitin Joshi, Professor in Neurology with teaching experience of 25 years, working as consultant neurosurgeon in Panvel. Today, we'll discuss preoperative counseling of patient of BPH for TRP regarding preoperatively keeping 1 point group specific whole blood or packed cells standby ready and possibility of dry climax due to retrograde ejaculation in sexually active male patient. So first we'll discuss regarding hematuria. TRP is a gold standard surgical treatment for BPH. Though TRP is minimally invasive, it is associated with bleeding intraoperatively or postoperatively. The intraoperative bleeding is called primary hemorrhage, while postoperative bleeding is either reactionary hemorrhage or secondary hemorrhage. As we know, hemorrhage is primary, reactionary or secondary hemorrhage. Primary hemorrhage is the hemorrhage which occurs at the time of surgery, that is, injury to the blood vessels at time of TRP. During primary hemorrhage, the surgeon notices that the effluent is not getting cleared at the end of TRP procedure. Second, that is reactionary hemorrhage. It is a type of post-operative bleeding which occurs within 1 to 2 days, that is 24 to 48 hours. It occurs from previously controlled blood vessels due to rise in blood pressure. The rise in pressure is due to the waning of effect of spinal anesthesia or due to excessive movement of the patient or excessive retching, vomiting or straining at defecation. The rise in pressure results into dislodgement of the clot from the blood vessel, resulting into the opening of the blood vessel which was previously coagulated. So, in order to prevent the reactionary hemorrhage, postoperatively patient is advised not to have excessive retching, movement or straining at defecation. This is because whenever there is straining at defecation, there is friction of hard stool with recently resected prostate gland causing hemorrhage. And so as to avoid the hard stool and straining at defecation, the stool softeners are advised postoperatively. The third type is the secondary hemorrhage. It occurs postoperatively within 1 to 2 weeks and it occurs due to some known causes, that is, the commonest causes of secondary hemorrhage anywhere in the body is the infection of the wound or malignant infiltration of the vessel. In case of TRP, the most common cause of the secondary hemorrhage is urinary tract infection. Whether infection or malignant infiltration of the vessel results into sloughing of the vessel, and this sloughing of the vessel prevents the natural process of healing of the injured blood vessel. In past, the incidence of the transfusion of blood during TRP was as high as 20%. In present era, the blood transfusion rate during TRP has drastically reduced from 20% to 2%, and this drastic reduction in the transfusion rate during TRP is due to improvement in armamentarium, that is better cautery, better optics, better camera, better resectoscope, then better training of the residents and better understanding of etiology of perioperative bleeding during TRP. Now we'll see the role of 5-alpha reductase inhibitor so as to reduce the perioperative bleeding during TRP. The studies have shown that the androgen have permissive role in the pathogenesis of BPH. BPH, that is benign prostatic hyperplasia. Hyperplasia, that is increased number of cells. The cells are either stromal and epithelial. So androgen hormone is responsible for upregulation of pathways for the differentiation and proliferation of cells, both that is stromal and epithelial, and reduction in the or inhibition of the pathway of apoptosis, that is programmed cell death. Overall effect, there is increased formation of both types of cells with reduction in the cell death, hence accumulation of the cells, and that is hyperplasia. Also, androgen has got role in increase in the suburethral or submucosal vascular density in the prostate. The hormone androgen brings about its action through the androgen receptor. This androgen receptor belongs to steroid group of family, and it is present in the cytoplasm of cells of target organ. In unbound state, the androgen receptor is stabilized in the cytoplasm of cells of target organ by binding with the molecules like heat shock proteins or Kekopheron molecules. The androgen which is present in plasma, the 95% is synthesized in the testes, where 5% weak androgens are synthesized from zona reticulosa of adrenal cortex. The main potent androgen in plasma is hormone testosterone. Of the total androgen, 95% of the androgen is bound to the plasma proteins, which is called as sex binding globulin, which is inactive, while 5% of the total is free, that is unbound, and it is active. This androgen which is present in the plasma passes along the concentration gradient from the plasma across the cell membrane of cells of target organ like prostate. In the cells, when the androgen comes in the cytoplasm, then the ligand binding domain of the androgen receptor and the testosterone, they bind. Binding of the testosterone with the androgen ligand binding domain of the androgen receptor results into destabilization. Destabilization, that is dissociation of the androgen receptor from the heat shock proteins and Kekopheron molecules. So now there is formation of androgen and androgen receptor complex. Due to destabilization, phosphorylation, and then dislocation, there will be transfer and movement of the hormone receptor complex from the cytoplasm across the nuclear membrane into nucleus. At the level of nuclear membrane, there are presence of 5-alpha reductase enzyme. There are two types of isoenzyme, type 1 and type 2 isoenzyme. In prostate, there are both the types, that is type 1 and type 2 5-alpha reductase enzyme. This enzyme is responsible for conversion of hormone testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. This dihydrotestosterone is 8 to 13 times more potent than testosterone. This is because DHT has got more affinity for androgen receptor than testosterone, and the complex thus formed because of DHT and androgen receptor is more stable. So, due to formation of DHT, the displacement of hormone testosterone from the hormone receptor complex by DHT. So now there is formation of DHT with ligand binding domain of androgen receptor at level of nuclear membrane. This complex now moves from the nuclear membrane into the nucleus. In the nucleus, there is nuclear chromatin material. The DNA binding domain of androgen receptor binds to the nuclear chromatin. The portion of nuclear chromatin to which the DNA binding domain of androgen receptor binds is called androgen response element. So now there is DHT with the androgen receptor, and the DNA binding domain of androgen receptor binding to the androgen response element of nuclear chromatin material. This results into increased transcription. Transcription is the process of formation of new messenger RNA from DNA. This messenger RNA is responsible for carrying message or information from the nucleus through the nuclear membrane into cytoplasm. This messenger RNA in cytoplasm along with the transfer RNA and ribosomal RNA is responsible for synthesis of new proteins which are structural and functional. The process of formation and synthesis of new proteins is called as translation. These proteins are structural and functional. The functional proteins are like growth factors. These growth factors are like fibroblast growth factor 1, fibroblast growth factor 2, fibroblast growth factor 3, insulin like growth factor, vascular endothelial growth factor, epithelial growth factor, keratinocyte growth factor. These growth factors are responsible for differentiation of the cells and proliferation, resulting into increase in the stromal and epithelial cells. As well as these functional proteins bring about the inhibition of apoptotic pathway, that is programmed cell death. Overall effect is increase in the cells, and so there is a rapid growth of adenoma. This vascular endothelial growth factor reacts with its receptor, that is vascular endothelial growth factor receptor. This factor and the receptor results into stimulation of angiogenesis, and that is increase in the vascular density in the submucosa. These glands, which is now showing rapidly progressing adenoma and increased vascularity, because of the adenoma there is the compression of this submucous urethral plexus. Because of the compression there is obstruction to the flow. Obstruction to the flow results into interference with the venous drainage, causing varicosity of this unsupported submucous venous plexus. Because of the obstruction they become varicose, that is dilated, tortuous and elongated. Because they are dilated, tortuous and elongated, they are stretched, thinned out and easy to rupture. And according to Barnes, the index of possibility of the intraoperative and postoperative bleeding depends upon the degree of stretching and thinning of the submucosal urethral plexus. The commonest causes of the perioperative bleeding in case of TRP is 1. Large prostate gland more than 45 grams. Second, the resected prostate volume is about 30 grams. Hypervascular gland. Then prolonged catheterization, untreated urinary tract infection. The duration of resection is more than 60 minutes and duration of surgery more than 90 minutes. The 5-alpha reductase inhibitors like finasteride and dutasteride, they block the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. 5-alpha reductase enzyme inhibitor finasteride blocks only type 2 isoenzyme, while the dutasteride is a dual blocker, that is it blocks both, that is type 1 and type 2. Because of the blocking of the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, conversion of testosterone to more potent DHT is prevented, and so all further steps, and that is upregulation of the pathways for the formation and the differentiation and proliferation of cells, and the inhibition of the apoptotic pathway. Overall effect, there will be decreased formation of the cells and increased apoptosis. This will result into reduction in the prostate volume, that is the reduction in the static component of BPH. And so the studies have shown that preoperative treatment of 5-alpha reductase inhibitor with finasteride or dutasteride for 6 weeks is responsible for reduction in the prostate volume as well as resected volume of the TRP chips and incidence of perioperative bleeding. Now we'll see the counseling regarding possibility of dry climax due to retrograde ejaculation in sexually active male patient. As per the McNeil zonal concept, prostate gland has got 5 zones. The innermost zone is the periurethral zone. The periurethral zone, the main component is the cylindrical smooth muscles. This cylindrical smooth muscle is also called as preprostatic sphincter. This preprostatic sphincter, along with this, there is presence of ring of smooth muscle fibers present at the bladder neck. This ring of smooth muscle at the bladder neck and preprostatic sphincter together act as the internal sphincter. This is because these smooth muscle fibers which are present in the proximal part of the prostatic urethra as well as ring of smooth muscles encircling the bladder neck has got rich sympathetic innervation. They are rich in post-junction alpha-1 adrenoreceptors. So whenever there is release of norepinephrine or noradrenaline at post-junction alpha-1 adrenoreceptors, that is at the level of the nerve endings, then they will acting with the post-junction alpha-1A adrenoreceptors resulting into hormone receptor complex. Due to hormone receptor complex, there is contraction of the smooth muscle, that is the smooth muscle which is encircling the bladder neck as well as the ring of the cylinder of the smooth muscle present in the proximal part of the prostatic urethra. So this act like a internal sphincter. This internal sphincter along with the external sphincter is responsible for urinary continence as well as this ring of smooth muscle at bladder neck and pre-prostatic sphincter, that is cylindrical muscle present in the proximal part of the prostatic urethra, got role in the normal antegrade ejaculation by one, that is preventing the retrograde ejaculation at the level of bladder neck, and second, at the level of pre-prostatic sphincter, contraction of this pre-prostatic sphincter causing obliteration of lumen of proximal prostatic urethra and hence generation of high pressure zone in the proximal prostatic urethra, which is required for the forceful antegrade ejaculation. This is because during the emission reflex, the smooth muscle which is present in the primary and secondary sex organ of the male person, that is smooth muscle present in the testes, that is gonad, as well as the smooth muscle which is present in the epididymis, vas, ampulla of vas, seminal vesicle, ejaculatory duct, prostate. All these smooth muscles also has got rich innervation of the sympathetic nerve endings as well as they are rich in the post-junctional alpha-1 adrenoreceptor. During emission reflex, there is release of noradrenaline at the nerve endings. This noradrenaline will act on the post-junctional alpha-1 adrenoreceptor present in the smooth muscle of this primary and secondary sexual organs. This causes contraction of the smooth muscle of this primary and secondary sexual organs, resulting into the contraction and hence squeezing and propelling the secretions from these organs in the forward direction. Due to the squeezing of the secretions which are present in the ampulla of vas, seminal vesicle, prostate, common ejaculatory duct will result into deposition of the secretion from the ampulla of vas, seminal vesicle, ejaculatory duct and prostate into the proximal prostatic urethra. This process of deposition of the secretion from the ampulla of vas, seminal vesicle, ejaculatory duct and the prostate is called as emission reflex. So in emission reflex, there is a release of noradrenaline. This noradrenaline will be acting on the post-junctional alpha-1 adrenoreceptors present in the ring of smooth muscles at the bladder neck, causing contraction of the bladder neck and hence closure of the bladder neck, and so preventing the backward flow of the secretion which is deposited in the proximal prostatic urethra in the bladder neck, thus preventing retrograde ejaculation. And due to the contraction of the pre-prostatic sphincter, which is the cylindrical muscle present along the proximal part of the prostatic urethra. Proximal part of prostatic urethra is just above the Veru, and at the level of Veru there is opening of the two ejaculatory duct, so the secretion is deposited above the proximal prostatic urethra, and so once there is contraction, obliteration of this lumen resulting into generation of high pressure in the proximal prostatic urethra. So whenever there is relaxation of the external sphincter due to generation of high pressure, there will be forward forceful ejaculation, which is the normal process of antegrade ejaculation. But during TRP, there is resection of the ring of smooth muscle at the bladder neck as well as pre-prostatic sphincter, and so there is possibility of the backward flow of the semen from proximal prostatic urethra in the bladder neck, causing retrograde ejaculation, and so the patient may experience dry climax. So the patient who is sexually active, one has to counsel that there will be normal erection as well as orgasm, but he may experience dry climax. Thank you very much.